Hi.
Hey, you guys are kind of big celebrities now, but you used to be regular people, like us regular people.
I mean, I didn't want to say it.
Well, I was just wondering if you've met celebrities on or off the show or out in the wild where you fanboyed over them the way regular people fanboy over you now.
A bunch. Yeah, I sort of, yeah, I've met a few and kind of laughed, not expecting to react like that. The one that sticks out is Mike McCready, the guitarist for Pearl Jam. One of the traveling tour managers was a fan of Supernatural. They had a concert in Vancouver. And so we take Jen and Daniil, and we walk into the green room because we have backstage passes and whatnot. And McCready's standing over there, and I don't realize it, but Jen starts trying to get her hand away from my hand, and she's like, "You're hurting my hand." She's like, "What's wrong with you?" I guess I just started kind of like squeezing her hand, like in a really creepy way, like, "This is weird. He's right there." That's kind of one that sticks out to me.
I just had one recently, and I never got confirmation on who I thought it was, and I'll tell you why. So I was, it's kind of how I sounded. I was in the gym at a hotel, and I was working out, and it was just me, and there was an older gentleman on the elliptical thing, and then a woman over on the bike or something, and that was it. It was a small gym, pretty empty. And I was sitting there, and the gentleman got off of the elliptical and went over and started doing like cable stuff or whatever. And I looked at him and I was like, no. And I looked down, I looked back up, and I was like, okay, all right, what do I do? And for the next like 10 minutes, I didn't work out at all. I was like, oh, maybe I just need to get some water that's over by his station. And I'm like,
Some water. Oh.
drank that quick. I don't know why I walk like that in the gym, but I do. And I finally realized, I was like, just ask him. Just be like, oh, are you playing in town? Or say something. And I literally couldn't build up the nerve to ask him. And I was like, well, this is ridiculous because I'm not working out anymore. Like, this is pointless. I'm just stalking this poor gentleman in the gym. And it's a very small gym, and I'm sure he's starting to notice it. And so I left. I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm leaving. I'm just going back to my room.
How did you walk out when you left?
I'm pretty sure it was Eric Clapton.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
But here's the thing. Had I gone up and gotten confirmation and it was, I don't want to know what would have happened next. I don't want to know. I'd rather just play it cool. Which isn't cool at all. It's probably worse than just going up and freaking out. But anyway, I'm pretty sure it was him.
Yeah, that's funny. You make me remember. I was at a restaurant in Sausalito, California, and we walked in. It was a nice Italian restaurant, and out of the corner of my eye, I kind of saw a guy sitting in the front bar area with big old headphones on, and he was kind of like he had a computer on his desk and was sitting there kind of like just swaying to some music. And I remember kind of going like, this doesn't seem like the right place for somebody to come in and just start listening to headphones. So I didn't think much of it. And then I kind of glanced over to go like, who is this dude at this nice Italian restaurant who's just like sitting here jamming out to the music in his head or in his headphones? And I look over and I'm like, oh, Carlos Santana, got it. He can do whatever he wants. As if he needed my approval or something. He can stay, guys. He's with me.
I just thought of another one. So the apartment that I live in Vancouver, there was a movie filming there. Some of you may have saw it. I don't know. Deadpool. And Ryan and Blake, the production had rented them an apartment in my same building. And I never did see Ryan because he was probably on set all the time, or I was on set all the time, whatever. But I did see Blake twice in the elevator, and it was just me and her child. And I'd be on, and she'd get on, and like I've met her. I've like taken pictures with her. She was on the same network with us for years, but for some reason she gets on, and I'm just like. Don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact. And she never said anything to me, and I never said anything to her. And
Yeah, she probably thought you were a weirdo.
probably. Yeah.
So when
Which is probably the same thing Eric Clapton thinks now.
When he first told me the story, it was slightly different. He omitted something. He said, you know, he heard Ryan and Blake were in the same building, and he never saw Ryan. But when you told me the story, you said you never saw Ryan because the drone wouldn't go as high as his floor, or the blinds were always closed or something. I forget what you.
And I'm pretty good at flying that thing now.
Yeah, I had something the other day. I've had these things where people can't quite figure out, especially sometimes when I'm bearded or it's during off season or something. I can tell they're staring at me, but they don't know why. And finally they give up on it. But Jen and I were on vacation with the kids over Thanksgiving break, and she's like, "Hey, let's go have a drink in the bar because we still have a nanny, and it's like 6 p.m. or something." And I was like, "Sweet, alone time," because our nanny's watching the kids. And so I enter this like bar restaurant up in Whistler, and I'm sort of looking around. I can't see her. And I see her finally, 50 feet that way, and there are 2 glasses of red wine, and she's facing the other direction, has on this cool little stylish hat and like her little coat. And I walk up, and I'm like, "Hey, baby, sorry, it took me a second to get here." And as I look, it's not my wife. So my hands are on her shoulders. I'm about to sit down, and she goes, "I don't know you." And as I turn around to look, I realize that Jen was like behind a post, that I walked right past Jen to come scratch some lady's shoulders. And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna go sit with my wife. My bad, my bad." And Jen's like sitting over there looking at me like, "What the hell was that?"
Was she sitting with anybody?
No, she was waiting for somebody, like everything. It was Jen's
Oh, it
clothes.
would have been so much better if she was like, "Oh, wow. You look way better than your profile picture."
Or worse.
Gosh, you don't look anything like your profile picture.
You put on some weight, I guess.
Liars.
Check, please. Yeah, mistaken identity. It was pretty embarrassing. But also,
What about the guy in the hotel last night? So Jared and I go and we check in late last night because we flew in from Vancouver. And so we just go grab a bite to eat at the hotel. And as we're kind of walking out, there's a door guy there, like a bellman.
probably 20.
Yeah, young kid, young good-looking kid, like 9 feet tall, and we walk up, and he's like, "Hey, you guys look just like those dudes from Supernatural." We're standing next to each other, and he's like,
he saw you first. He's
Yeah,
like,
he looks at
"Man,
me,
you
he's
look
like,
like,
"Oh, hey,
wait
you
a
look-
second, and you look like the
"Hey,
other
you-
one."
wow,
That's crazy.
Has anybody ever told you guys you look like those guys from Supernatural? And I didn't know. I'm like,
Like, is he jacking with us? Are we getting punked? What's going on?
because that's happened to me like by myself. Like, has anybody ever told you you look like that guy from Supernatural? And depending on how much of in a rush I am, I'll either be like, "It's me. Yeah, how you doing? Nice to meet you." Or I'll be like, "You know what? I've gotten that a lot of times, and I use it." But this, I mean, it's like so blatantly obvious. And
We're
he's
just
like,
standing there like-
and he's like, "You guys, do you look? You look just like them." And finally, Jared's like, "It's because we are them."
And he's like,
And
"Nah."
he goes, "No way! Oh man, my sister's gonna freak out." And then he was like, "Is okay." I think you wanted to ask for a picture, but he was like working
not
and there were
supposed to.
cameras and he's like, okay, well, man, I mean, you guys really look like him. All right, buddy. Thanks a lot.
I've had some where they're like, you look like the guy from Supernatural. And I'm like, he sounds handsome. And they're like, I mean. The angel, you mean? No. Yeah, identity, funny thing. Thank you for your question.
Anyway.